Hey everybody, this is the weekly forecast commencing on Monday, October the 7th, 2024. This is a very important week because Jupiter and Pluto are changing directions. Jupiter is the planet of growth and expansion and opportunities. It represents higher education. It can represent traveling. And it goes retrograde once a year. And it's going to retrograde on Tuesday, October the 8th, in the sign of Gemini and remain retrograde until February the 4th. So wherever Gemini is impacting your chart, your expectations with the Jupiter could be more delayed, or what you were promised or expected could be smaller, or monies, because Jupiter can deal with a lot with prosperity, may be more sluggish, but only depending on where Jupiter in Gemini, how that impacts your chart and where it's transiting. What house area is it transiting? So those are areas that could be more delayed. But Pluto, the planet of transformation, death and rebirth, went into Capricorn in 2008. And Capricorn represents government, represents economics, the corporate world. Now, Pluto can be all these big upheavals. Pluto ruling the underworld can represent secrets. So a lot of behind the scenes secrets in corporate world, in the governmental world, has all been exposed. But with Pluto, think of Pluto as endings, transforming, reorganizing, getting ready for a rebirth, a new beginning. And so all this intense change and restructuring and frustrations with government, with economics, that is now starting to be released and move forwards as of October the 11th. Actually, Pluto is at the last degree of Capricorn. So if you have a planet there, or within a degree or so, or being aspected by the last degree of Capricorn, whether that like opposite is Cancer, very favorable trine to Taurus or Virgo, you're going to start seeing whatever has been going through all these big organization changes is starting to open up. Most people will only see these changes of Jupiter going retrograde and Pluto going direct on the news and how it's impacting the general public. But if you have planets that are impacting by that Jupiter and Pluto, you're going to be feeling it. But that Pluto, thank God, it's leaving Capricorn and going into progressive and technological, inventive Aquarius. So it is now time to start moving forwards in the best of Aquarius. Aquarius can also represent personal freedoms. Now, before I look at what's happening each day of this week, if you enjoy these kinds of videos and would like to see more of them, click like and subscribe. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so you can receive the latest postings. And if you go into the description box underneath the video, you'll find links to book an astrology reading or to check out my 2-question offer. All right, on Monday, October the 7th, the moon's in Sagittarius. The moon sets the general public tones and reactions. Sagittarius is very adventurous, very friendly, very outgoing, certainly very optimistic, and it's in harmony with the sun. It's not making an aspect until the next day, but the sun's in Libra, and Libra's an air sign in harmony with the moon in Sag, a fire sign. So this is a very favorable day to start the new work week, feeling really upbeat, making long-range plans or travel plans, educational plans. That's all under the domain of Sagittarius. On the 8th, the moon continues in Sagittarius, and Jupiter is actually the ruling planet for Sagittarius, and Jupiter's going retrograde in Gemini until February the 4th. So, as I already said, where Gemini is impacting your chart, that Jupiter could be delaying your expectations, or what is promised might be smaller. But Venus is trining or in harmony with Mars all day, and Mercury is trining Jupiter, even though Jupiter is going retrograde. Venus is harmonious, pleasure-seeking, creative, romantic energy, and maybe twice a year it's trining or in harmony with assertive, dynamic Mars. On one hand, Venus-Mars can awaken more passions. If you should meet somebody, you might be have more of a crush right away, because it's all this dynamic, romantic energy. Creatively of Venus, you may be more just needing to express yourself. And be more work-oriented, more productive. Now Mercury, decision-making Mercury, is going to be trining or in harmony with Jupiter. And now Jupiter, as it goes it goes retrograde on the 8th, it's actually going to be at a standstill. So it's going to be really intensified about all matters of Jupiter, the future, education, traveling, prosperity. But Mercury is the what you're planning, what you're thinking, what you're curious about, is going to be in the best flow of energy to Jupiter. So a lot of you may be making some long-range plans or educational plans or travel plans, sorry about that. But because of the Jupiter in retrograde, what you're planning and hoping and expecting could all be favorable because of what you're getting started and planning on the 8th. It's just that it may take longer than expected because of the Jupiter in retrograde. The results may be smaller than expected. Those are examples of the Jupiter in retrograde. Now, Wednesday, now the moon has moved into more grounded, practical, goal-oriented Capricorn. With the moon in Sag, we're looking for the bigger picture. We're really optimistic. But now when the moon goes into Capricorn, the general public tone is to be more realistic, more grounded, take steps to achieve your goals, slowly, pragmatically. So overall, it's a good day for business. Thursday, as the moon is in Capricorn, it's going to around noon to 1 approximately p.m. Pacific time. It's going to be what we call a square or hard angle to the sun in Libra. So this can trigger a lot of ego disputes and tensions. The positive is the moon can represent our old habits and patterns that the sun is putting a spotlight on, but it's in a difficult angle. So you might be feeling frustrated about limiting habit that you're trying to break. It's just going to take more effort. By mid-afternoon, say 3-4 p.m. Pacific time, now the moon in Capricorn will be in opposition or confrontation to irritable, impulsive Mars. As I said, Pacific time in the afternoon. Now, that could be when there's from the moon sun, that could be these ego disputes, and then the moon Mars later in the afternoon. You may be more irritable. This would not be a good day to be negotiating even friendships, romance, business, because you're more irritable, you're more impatient, impulsive. As we get closer to 5 p.m. Pacific time, most of this stressful energy is winding down. On Friday the 11th, we wake up, the moon continues in Capricorn, but by 9:31 a.m. Pacific time, the moon goes into Aquarius. Capricorn represents more the past, Aquarius represents more the future. Capricorn is more conventional, traditional, and Aquarius is more futuristic. It's more progressive, it's more innovative, and it wants to rebel and shake things up. Where the Capricorn, let's just stay on the steady path. Aquarius also can represent friendships, organizations, group activities. And so it's a very favorable sign as we're going into the weekend to be hanging with friends, getting involved with any kind of group organizations. But Pluto on the 11th is going direct. Now, as I said a little bit earlier, Pluto went into Capricorn in 2008, and all things Capricorn, from government to economics, was with Pluto, could be revealing secrets, power struggles, major upheavals and endings. And now, but think of also Pluto as death and rebirth. So at the very end of Pluto in Capricorn, it's trying to give what was trying to come through. The one part since 2008 was revealing the secrets and the old system and the old structure and trying to let it go and reorganize. So now, as of October the 11th, through the next 4 weeks, as Pluto remains in Capricorn, that could be giving birth to new economics, new government, new structures, and Pluto's at the last degree of Capricorn. So if you have a planet within a degree of the last degree of Capricorn, or the opposite, the last degree of Cancer, or the trining, the most favorable energies of the last degree of Virgo or Taurus, you might be feeling this big shift. So whatever's been trying to be shaken up, and the last time that this was happening, Pluto in Capricorn going into Aquarius, was 243 years ago, when we were setting up the new democracy, a new system of government. So prior to that was the American Revolution, fighting for a big change in ideologies, and then it started to move forwards into a whole new system. And Aquarius is humanity and the people. So you can look at now what's trying to give birth is the power of the people, and more the power of around the world of people standing up and demanding more personal freedoms, as that did the last time, 240, 50 years ago, with the French Revolution and the American Revolution. So there's a lot of powerful change that is impacting culture, society, government, but you only may be seeing it in the news. But if you're being impacted by that 29 degrees of Capricorn, the last degree of Capricorn, you could definitely feeling it on a very personal, direct level. On Saturday, the moon's in Aquarius. It's going to be by early evening in harmony, a trine to the sun in Libra, and trining in harmony with Jupiter in Gemini, because they're all air signs. When the moon's in harmony with the sun, peaking more evening, Pacific time, it's as if things are more effortless, things flow more easily. It's very favorable for socializing with the moon in Aquarius, being involved with networking, group activities, friendships. And then we add in Jupiter, because the moon to Jupiter, you're just feeling so more optimistic and generous, and you could be looking to the future with Jupiter. And on Sunday, the moon continues in inventive, innovative, quirky Aquarius, but it goes void of course at 7:11 a.m. until 12:55 p.m. Pacific time. The void of course means, as I've said many weeks in the past, that the moon is changing signs, but it's no longer making any aspects to other planets until it moves into the next sign of Pisces. And then it starts the whole cycle again. So when the moon is not triggering any other planets, the energy is flat. It's unproductive. So the general rule of thumb when the moon void of course is you don't want to be making important decisions, launching new events, because what you're expecting could take more effort, but basically the energy is flat and is not very productive. However, after 12:55 p.m. Pacific time, as the moon goes into Pisces and now the energy is opening up, the sun is going to be trining, or the best flow of energy, to that Jupiter retrograde. So however Jupiter in Gemini is impacting your chart, and you're realizing things might need some adjustments, you may have more patience, the sun is putting a real positive spotlight on where you're having to make these readjustments where Jupiter in Gemini is impacting your chart. At the same time, decision-making Mercury is going to be squaring or forming this 90-degree hard angle to Pluto that just went direct at the end of Capricorn. So Mercury to Pluto, basically, Mercury is the mind and the thinking and the planning and decision-making. When it's in this hard angle to Pluto, in many ways, you're struggling with making a decision to let go of what's not been working. And Pluto moving forwards now is trying to, move towards the future and let the past go. But with the sun trining Jupiter at the same day, on Sunday, you're feeling a lot of protection, a lot of luck, and you may even be realizing that it's going to take time. You may not know anything about Jupiter in retrograde, because with the Mercury and with Pluto, you're realizing there may be a lot of things you've got to reorganize and let go. But the Sun, Jupiter, you're feeling very optimistic. These are good decisions, and you're on the right path. I want to thank you for watching. If you like information on how to book an astrology reading or to check out my 2-question offer, visit my website at gardino.co. That's .co. Until next week, be safe and well.